There is something comforting in watching a fictional mystery unravel, seeing a person discover a clue and link it to a suspect or to a fresh piece of evidence that can indicate what exact fate befell a victim. But in real life, things are not so neat and tidy. Many unsolved cases have very little information to go on, causing the investigation to halt and detectives to move on to other inquiries. In today's episode, we aim to shed light on several stalled investigations as we examine 4 spine-chilling, unsolved disappearances with no clues. Alyssa McLemore. 21-year-old Alyssa Angelique McLemore was last heard from at 6:30 on the evening of April 9th, 2009. At this time, she had been living with her mother, Gracie, and her grandmother, Barbara, in Kent, Washington, but was away from home when Barbara rang to let her know that Gracie's condition was deteriorating. Alyssa's mother was terminally ill due to an autoimmune disease, and Barbara did not think she would have much time left. Alyssa told her that she'd come home to see her mother and hopefully spend some time with her before she died. A witness saw Alyssa in Kent that day, near 30th Avenue South. Sex workers and their customers were known to hang around this part of town, and notably, Alyssa had been arrested for prostitution on several occasions. The witnesses who saw the 21-year-old that day saw a green 1990s model pickup truck approach her. The vehicle possibly had Oregon license plates. Another witness described seeing Alyssa with a man who was white, in his 50s or 60s, about 5'8", and weighing between 175 to 185 pounds. He also drove a green pickup truck. It is unclear whether or not this man was involved in the disappearance. Alyssa has never been seen again. Her mother, Gracie, passed away 3 days later, and although her family attempted to let her know, they were unable to get in touch with her. Though they tried to file a missing persons report on April 9th, the police told them they'd have to wait 24 hours before they could do so. At 9:15 p.m. on April 10th, the day after her family last spoke to her, 911 received a call from Alyssa's phone. The dispatcher recalled hearing a woman asking for help, while a male voice in the background told her to come here and said something along the lines of, "I'll kill you," or "I'll hurt you." Investigators have said they will never make the call public, as it would inundate them with red herrings, but that they may allow family members to listen to it in the future, in case they recognize the man's voice. The exact location of Alyssa's mobile could not be pinpointed before the line went dead, because it didn't have a GPS sensor. Still, investigators believe the call was likely from the Kent area. The caller has never been identified, nor has the man in the background of the call. The phone went out of service a few days later. Alyssa's case is still unsolved. She is described as a devoted parent who would never abandon her child willingly. Her 3-year-old daughter was staying with her father, Alyssa's boyfriend, at the time of the disappearance. 21-year-old Alyssa was last seen in Kent, Washington on April 9th, 2009. She is described as a biracial female who is half African-American and half Native American. She has naturally black hair and brown eyes, though many photos show her with blonde hair. It is unclear if her hair was this color at the time of her disappearance. Alyssa has a scar on her abdomen. She is between 5'1" and 5'3", and weighed 130 pounds at the time of her disappearance. If Alyssa is still alive, she will be 35 years old. If you have any information about her disappearance, you can call the Kent PD at 253-856-5800. Donna Cloud. 19-year-old Donna K. Cloud was last seen in Splendora, Texas on October 25, 2016. Raised by her grandmother, Donna moved in with her father shortly before she went missing, with their relationship being described as strained. After she vanished, her father, Daryl Beatty, claimed that she'd left home to go on a blind date with an unknown man she'd met online. He said they were meeting at a restaurant in Kingswood, but this story was never corroborated. Investigators checked CCTV from the restaurant, but never saw Donna on the recordings. It soon came to light that before Donna had left home that day, she had had an argument with her father. Daryl had told her to leave the property, and two men came to pick up the 19-year-old. One of them claimed that he had dropped her off safe and sound later that evening. Just before or just after midnight on October 26th, Donna's Facebook account accepted friend requests from two men. She was active online in the early morning hours of the 27th, searching for friends on Facebook and looking for undisclosed terms on Google. According to her phone data, she was traveling between Conroe, Texas and Houston, Texas. The data showed she was last in the West Chase area of Houston just after 1 a.m. on October 27th. There is no further trace of Donna after this time, and she has never been seen or heard from again. Notably, Donna had an abusive ex-boyfriend at the time of her disappearance. He passed a polygraph in connection with her case. Before she went missing, she'd also received a threatening voicemail from a man who refused to take a polygraph test in relation to Donna's case. On the voicemail, he can reportedly be heard saying, "Watch your back," and said that he planned to get someone to smash you too. It is unknown why the man had an issue with Donna or what their relationship was. Donna left behind her car, money, ID, and her clothes, as well as her 4-year-old son, Ryan. Her loved ones noted that she would never abandon him willingly. 19-year-old Donna K. Cloud was last seen in Splendora, Texas on October 25, 2016. She is described as a white woman with brown hair and brown eyes. She is between 5 foot and 5'2" and weighed between 95 to 113 pounds when she was last seen. At the time of her disappearance, she wore a burgundy t-shirt, blue jeans with a hole in the back right side pocket, and white canvas shoes. She was also carrying her phone, which had a case that functioned as a wallet. Donna has several piercings and tattoos. Her ears are pierced, and her nose is pierced on the right side. Her tattoos consist of a diamond on her right ring finger, a cross on her right index finger, the words "Love is enough" on her collarbone, and the word "faith" in cursive on the inside of her right forearm. She also has script on the back of her right shoulder blade, reading, "God is within her, she will not fail," Psalms 46:5. She is also described as having deep dimples in both cheeks. Donna is still missing. If you have any information about her case, you can call the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office at 936-760-5800. Nikole Betterson. 2-year-old Nikole Betterson's date of disappearance is listed as December 1st, 1977, but the exact circumstances of her vanishing are murky at best. In September of 1977, Jarrett Betterson was driving along a road with Nikole and Susan Klingel, his girlfriend and Nicole's mother, when he lost control of the vehicle and it rolled several times before coming to a stop. Susan was thrown from the car and killed, though Jarrett and Nikole were not seriously harmed. As marijuana was found in the vehicle, the police attempted to put together a case against Jarrett, hoping to charge him with vehicular homicide. However, this never panned out due to a mishandled investigation, and so the father of one moved on with his life. Just months after Susan's death, Jarrett met Barbara Sadler. The two made plans to leave Michigan and started a new life out west, with Barbara promising Susan's parents that she would care for Nikole like she was her own daughter. The toddler's grandparents last saw her in December of 1977, but never heard from her or her father again. It is unclear where Barbara and Jarrett planned to go. They told some friends they were heading for Las Vegas, but another individual claimed they wanted to put down roots in California. The Klingels recalled crying as they said goodbye to the only piece of their daughter they had left. They had never seen eye to eye with Jarrett. While Jarrett believed it was because he was black, the Klingels claimed it was because his lifestyle had rubbed off on Susan and turned her towards drug use. 20 years passed, and the Klingels decided to try and look for their granddaughter. As they were elderly, they wanted to write Nikole into their will and leave her their assets. and as she would now be in her 20s, they believed she was more than old enough to decide whether or not she wanted to have a relationship with them. The Klingels hired a private investigator who promptly located Jarrett and Barbara, now married and living in poverty and poor health. But Nikole was not with them. Diving deeper, the PI scoured school and adoption records for any trace of the toddler and came up empty. The private investigator then notified law enforcement, who carried out their own investigation, combing through family court archives, police records, and driver's license records, but concluded that Nikole hadn't made it to Nevada. The implications of their inquiry were chilling. Still, for 16 years, the Bettersons collected the check Nikole received from the Social Security Administration. The monthly survivor benefit, which was sent out to children whose parents have died, was dutifully picked up every month until Nikole's 18th birthday, which is the cutoff age for the benefit. In November of 1997, the police approached the Bettersons at their home. Jarrett, 49, now used a motorized wheelchair following a bus crash. Investigators questioned Jarrett about his daughter's whereabouts, but he was unable to provide any satisfactory answers. One detective then told Jarrett, "I know what happened to your daughter. It will be easier on you if you tell us the whole story." The detective was bluffing. The police had no body, no answers, and no evidence, but he hoped the words would frighten Jarrett into coming clean. Instead, it led to the couple's deaths. Jarrett told the detective he would reach out to him in a week. 4 days later, he called the detective and said he needed more time. He said he needed a few weeks to arrange a meeting with Nikole. But 10 days later, Jarrett called yet again, requesting even more time. Jarrett never contacted the investigators again. Instead, he shot Barbara twice in the chest before covering himself with a sheet and taking his own life. Barbara was found lying on a waterbed, holding a Bible and a cross. Jarrett had left a red rose with her before he'd turned the gun on himself. The only thing the couple left behind was a letter to Joni Betterson, Jarrett's mother, who lived in Georgia. It was the first time she'd heard from them in 20 years. The letter stated, "By the time you get this, we should be dead. Jarrett is about to go to jail, and I don't want to live without him. I'm sorry about living apart from our family. I'm sorry about so many things. We've had a sad and difficult life." The letter included $900 to be used for the couple's cremation. Barbara asked that their ashes be placed in the same urn. She then wrote, "We had hoped our troubles would never touch our families, so we kept to ourselves. We've tried to follow God. Now it's about time for him to judge us." The letter made no mention of Nikole, but concluded, "Go to your Bibles to see peace, and please forgive us for all the wounds we have put in your hearts with our tragic and youthful blunders." The couple left no letter in their apartment for investigators or anybody else, but a note was found on the fridge, addressed to the apartment manager and asking him to, quote, "forgive us for having to deal with the mess we left." Notably, there were also no photos of Nikole inside the home. Although investigators have speculated that the toddler had been sold for drugs or given away before the couple reached Vegas, they said it was more likely that she is deceased. They fear the case might now never be solved, that Barbara and Jarrett are gone. Nikole Betterson's case is still unsolved. She was just 2 when she vanished from Dearborn, Michigan in December of 1977. She is described as biracial, being half white and half black with brown hair. When she vanished, she was 2'7" and weighed 26 pounds. If you have any information about her disappearance, you can contact the Las Vegas PD at 702-229-3111. Karin Mero and Hannah Zaccaglini. Karin Elizabeth Mero was last seen in McLeod, California on February 15, 1997, when she was spotted on the front porch of a home on Minnesota Avenue. The residence belonged to Edward Ed Henline Sr., her boyfriend's father, and his wife. Karin and her boyfriend, Ed Jr., were also living at the property. Investigators later noted that Karin did not get on with her boyfriend's father, and they fought frequently. This is the last known sighting of Karin, and she has never been seen or heard from again. Adding to the difficulties with her case is the fact she was not reported missing until October 1997, a whole 8 months after she vanished. Reportedly, Law enforcement initially felt the 27-year-old had left of her own accord because a warrant was out for her arrest. But then weeks turned into months, and there was no trace of her after that February, leaving to some concern that something more sinister was afoot. Just 4 months after Karin went missing, 15-year-old Hannah Marie Zaccaglini also vanished from McLeod. She was last seen leaving her boyfriend's apartment at around 10 o'clock on the night of June 4th, 1997. She intended on returning to her family's home on Minnesota Avenue, just a few blocks from her boyfriend's, but never made it and was never seen or heard from again. Authorities originally believed Hannah to be a runaway. At the time of her disappearance, her parents had recently divorced and she had just broken up with her boyfriend because he and his family were moving away. However, like with Karin, investigators were unable to find any evidence that Hannah was still alive after the night she vanished, leading them to suspect that foul play was involved. Detectives also learned that Hannah had not argued with her family at the time she went missing, and that she'd left the vast majority of her belongings behind, including her beloved bass guitar, clothing, handbag, and money. Her family do not believe that she left voluntarily, and her mother later alleged that the police were prejudiced against her and did not thoroughly investigate the case when Hannah first went missing. Shortly afterwards, it came to light that Ed Henline Sr. and his wife may have been the last people to see her before she disappeared, as law enforcement was now aware of 2 women who had gone missing near the Henlines' property. They questioned the family and searched the residence. In 2012, both Henline Sr. and his son, Henline Jr., were charged with Hannah's murder. However, the charges were swiftly dropped 6 months later, in May of 2013, due to a lack of evidence. The police have noted that charges may be reinstated if more evidence becomes available. Both cases are still unsolved, but the Henlines remain suspects in the disappearances. In 1998, Henline Sr. and his wife, Deborah, were arrested on suspicion of forging Karin's disability checks. They pled guilty to perjury, were ordered to pay almost $1,900 to the Siskiyou County Human Services Agency, and were placed on probation for 3 years. The following year, the couple was arrested on drug and weapon charges after a probation search of their home was carried out. They were subsequently given 120 days in jail and placed on further probation. Sadly, Karin's father, Robert, died in 2011. 27-year-old Karin Mero was last seen on February 15, 1997, on Minnesota Avenue in McLeod, California. She is described as a white woman with brown hair and green eyes. She has a scar on her face near her nose and a surgical scar from a liver transplant. Her upper front row of teeth is capped. She is 5'8" and weighed around 170 pounds at the time of her disappearance. Karin is classified as disabled and had a liver transplant in 1994. She regularly takes anti-rejection drugs as well as other prescribed medicines, but has not refilled her prescription since she went missing. If she is still alive, she will be 54 years old. 15-year-old Hannah Zaccaglini was last seen on June 4, 1997, in McLeod, California, when she left her boyfriend's apartment and headed home along Minnesota Avenue. Marie is described as a white woman with brown hair and brown eyes, though she dyed her hair black at the time of her disappearance. She has a birthmark behind her right ear, close to her hairline, and a chickenpox scar near her right eye. Her upper left front tooth was chipped when she vanished, and her ears are pierced. She is 5'5" and weighed around 120 pounds when she was last seen. At the time of her disappearance, Marie wore a lime green and white checkered shirt or tank top with daisy-shaped buttons and a tie at the waist, blue jeans, black canvas Vans deck shoes with the letter V imprinted in white on the side of each shoe, a silver band-type ring, and possibly a grey sweatshirt. If Marie is still alive, she will be 41 years old. If you have any information about either of these cases, you can contact the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office at 530-842-8300. And there you have the facts. Please leave a comment down below with your own theories and speculations, and remember to like this video and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you for watching. Stay alert, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.